Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be continuing our playthrough of Middara Unintentional Malum Act 1. In our last video we completed Chapter 1. It is time to move into Chapter 2. At this point in the game a lot of things are going to be changing. Our loot level is going to change, some of the monsters are going to change, there's going to be a lot of changes, it's going to be really cool, a lot of neat new things. I'm super excited. Let's dig into some of the stuff that's going to happen before we dig into the board you see behind me. First thing we have to talk about is the story that is behind Middara. Moving into Chapter 2, there are a lot of things that you're going to want to listen to, and I have put a lot of links in the description of this video below on how to be able to listen to the narration of Middara Unintentional Malum Act 1. As we completed Chapter 1, we were left by leaving to the city of Elenia, which is what you're going to listen to, which will then put you at arriving at Rhamsted, which is going to be our Chapter 2 beginning. There's going to be a lot of story that takes place in there, and we're going to move into finding an inn. And after that, we are going to move into the actual game we're going to be playing, which is the new side quest. Now, during that part of what you're listening to, there's a few things that are going to happen, and I'll make sure to put those in the video before we start. The other thing we have to talk about is what we have available to us. We have a lot of experience, we have a lot of gold, and I want to make sure we go over each of our characters moving into Chapter 2 and decide what we're going to buy, because while we enter the city, we're going to enter a shop and train phase where we can use our experience and our gold to be purchasing new things. First, let's take a look at the book.
Hello, good morning. Open up your eyes. Hello, good morning. The magic's still inside. Never loved you more than I do now. Living in a sentimental city, right next to an evil town. Hello, good morning. Open up your eyes. Hello, good morning.
At the end of Chapter 1, you're going to come to two different passages, Leading the Way and A Nightmare Manifest. Those are the ones we're going to have to listen to first before we listen to Leaving the City of Elenia. So go listen to all of those, and I will put a link to all the different ones we need to listen to in the description of this video, so please check it out. I might even put it in a pinned comment. We're going to see here that we have a reward. Nightingale is infected with the Malma. Reveals small hidden card UM4, and Nightingale learns the infection story discipline. So this is what she was able to learn. It says infection. It's an assemblage story discipline. Now it's a story discipline, not a level 1 discipline in the assemblage area. So it doesn't actually help me when it comes to being if I wanted to buy a level 2. I'd have to still buy the level 1 in assemblage because this isn't actually a level. It's just part of the story. I can exhaust this to deal myself 1 irreducible damage, and that's just fine because if you remember, I have that sentient bodysuit that is allowing me to heal 1 at the beginning of the status turn at each turn. And it says down here, and if I take the irreducible damage, I can reduce the stamina cost of an action or ability you are making by 1. So she's going to be an action queen. That's fantastic. Not only that, she can give out the stamina points because of her ambitious, which is fantastic. That is what we got from her. We'll place it in her discipline area and move on to the next part of the story. Under our story, The Commotion Downstairs, we've come to a flag check. Does the party have story flag bouncer bounced? Yes, we do. We were able to take out the bouncer. It was pretty awesome. Though I did make a few mistakes in that video, it was still a lot of fun to take him on. So we're going to place down our red revealer, which as you can see doesn't actually go across the entire thing, which is actually a pain in the butt. But we're going to try to read this and see what it says. It says, Patrick looked impressed. If the party could kill such a horrible monster, they must be more experienced than he thought. Each party member gains 1 XP. Unfortunately, the one who posted the reward was killed months ago, maybe by the bouncer. There's probably no chance for a reward, so we're going to gain that 1 experience point. At this point, we have reached the shop and train, the explore and venture forth area. We have gotten to Rhamsted, which is a new area, which is going to be pretty cool. There's a lot of things we can do. Now, up here, it does notice that all of our common items are available for us. These upgrades, remember, I do not have the upgraded book, so the common upgrades doesn't actually exist. It's not, there's a different way the upgrades work. I've explained that a few times, so please check out some of my other videos when wanting to know what the upgrades are all about. We only have an upgrade material, and that's right here. We do have this small sickle shell charm, which at this point I could give for 25 gold, or I could turn it into one of the potential upgrades if I wanted to, which, for example, I could turn it into this, giving my characters the ability to buy these and equip them to their items, for example. This is just one example. Or I can get rid of this and take one and equip it to one of my items. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep all of these things when it comes to because I'm not actually sure what we're going to be facing in the future, and I'm not sure that's going to be a good one if it's going to be good to keep, or if it's going to be good to sell, or maybe it's good to turn into some kind of upgrade. Let's see, the rest of the things we do is we have to put one random common unique item out for sale. That we do have to do. So I'm going to grab all the common unique cards. We're going to give them a good old truffle shuffle. I'm going to do it behind my back so I don't see anything that's going on. And we're going to draw one from the bottom of the deck. So after I give these a good old truffle shuffle behind me, we're going to draw the back one and see what it is. We've gotten this thing. What is this? Scimitar Swallow. Oh my gosh, it's $100. We have 127, so this will be all our money. I get to roll 2 teal dice. It does take 2 hands to use, so potentially something for Remy, because she seems to be using a lot of two-handed weapons. It says down here, exhaust. After resolving an attack you made, make an attack against a different target. So she can kind of use both those blades. That makes sense. It has a passive power for 1 stamina after resolving an attack in which you defeated an opponent. End the current action and all abilities, then move up to 3 spaces, then make an attack. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Well, I have to defeat the opponent though, and it gives me some of the extra stuff down here based on physical damage. So that is available for us to buy. The rest of the unique items are going back into the pool to be able to find maybe out in the adventure at some kind, but this will not. This is only here, and it will be there all through the rest of the story. So if I ever want to buy it, I have to come here to buy it. Then it says, let's see here, I think what else? We have the side quest right down here, so Maliks Mission. And that's what we're going to be doing is Maliks Mission, so please listen to that as well so you know what is going to be happening in there. Now, before we do this mission, I do want to talk about our characters, what we have, and what we could potentially buy. This is where we sit at the end of our last adventure when we completed Chapter 1. We have 127 gold. Each of our characters have 5 experience points, except for Remy, she has 6, and I have added the 1 that we got for the Bouncer is Bounced. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to get any of our disciplines. These can only get level 1 disciplines because they have already a level 2 discipline, meaning they would have to spend 1 more XP in order to gain that. So they would need 6 in order to gain a level 5 XP level 2 discipline in the disciplines that they have already. Remy, on the other hand, could grab a level 2 discipline if she wanted to from the martial status, or of course we could grab level 1s from any of the other disciplines we want. I'm not sure if there are any in there I'd really be interested in getting. I could get her, for example, this Blood Rage, which would allow her to be able to gain extra stamina if she's below half health, but I don't know if I'm below half health. That's probably a bad thing. I want to be above half health. Next, we have this Gigas Grip, which allows me to carry around 2 two-handed weapons, but I still can only use 1 each turn. I can't get to add all the dice from both of the weapons, so I'm not sure if that's really that great. And we have this one called Mage Breaker. This seems really cool. I'm really excited about this one. When determining damage, roll the opponent's casting die and add that number rolled to physical damage to this attack. Now, the only problem with this is I haven't seen too many monsters yet that have a magic die. Now we have Onslaught. This one looks really good, but it costs 3 stamina points, but I get to make an attack with a follow-up, make an attack with a follow-up, make an attack. So I could do potentially 3 attacks with 1 set of stamina points. The only problem is if any of these attacks miss, I no longer get to continue those follow-ups, which is really kind of sad. So I have to make sure I hit. So again, not sure if that's that great. Then we have Physically Perfected. I'm allowed to gain health where X is equal to your highest level martial discipline. So right now it'd be 2. I'd gain 2 extra health, which wouldn't be that bad. And it does have a star follow-up here, which I'm allowed to gain 1 stamina point. That doesn't seem too bad, but we also have Promise. Let's look at the rest of these. Before rolling for the attack, gain X to the attack roll, where X is equal to the amount of times you're attacked the target this turn. Well, I might only have attacked him once, so it's only +1, so I don't know if that's that great. and Whirlwind here. This allows me to pretty much attack anybody that's around me. So if I make an attack, I'm going to make separate attacks against all the rest of the people that are around the person I'm making the attack for. So there's a lot of neat things in number 2, but I'm not exactly sure if any of these are worth getting. Please leave in the comments below if you think any of those are worth it, or should I be moving into a different discipline for Wemmy, or should I power through the level 5, wait for the levels, power through and get a level 5 so I can get to the level 3 or level 3 disciplines. Power through to level 2s, I apologize, to get to the level 3s. Please let me know in the description below what you think would be good for Remy at this point. Since we're on the topic of Remy, let's take a look at what she has. She still has her BA leather jacket, defensive core, and she's carrying around this war axe, which is pretty cool. But for 60 gold, we can grab a new weapon, and I think we're going to do that. We are going to grab the top heavy axe. This allows us to roll 2 teal dice. And here we have an exhaust ability. When determining the damage of an attack, this weapon gains 1 book plus physical damage until the attack is resolved. So it's very similar to what this one is doing. It's doing the exact same thing. When determining damage, I equal the amount of books, also equal damage. So it does the same thing there. But down here, passive, follow-up, spend 1 stamina to roll a black die. For each shield rolled, deal the target of this attack 1 irreducible damage. So there's a lot more going on with this axe, not to mention it does more damage. Now I can sell this back for 5, so technically that only cost me 55 gold. We also have our swashbuckler's gear, which help with conviction checks. We have some of these piercings, the enchanted piercings, which gives me a conviction check of white. And I have a fight drive that allows me to, once per encounter, make another attack. And we've seen her things in action before, but we still have Chains of Command and Hammer Help. So like I said, she has 2 level 1 disciplines. I don't have a level 2 for her. If you know of any, if you think any of those are pretty good, please let me know in the comments below and why you think that would be great. Lastly, she has this defensive core that I haven't talked about yet. That just gives her the ability to dodge, which isn't that bad. Dodging is always good. Next we have Nightingale. Nightingale also has the same 2 here that we have for Remy. She has her magic staff, which is pretty cool. It gives her a casting die of white. Oh, white. White's no good. I don't think we're going to use white anymore. We're going to use teal. We're going to spend another 60 bucks on this inscribed casting rod. It has a casting upgrade of teal. That's going to be so good. And right here, when determining the force of a spell, you may discard any amount of dice. Now, believe it or not, I think the rest of this is pretty much exactly the same as this one. Instead of rolling a white die, though, I get to roll a teal die when I decide to exhaust this to do extra magic damage. So she's going to grab that for 60, so we spent 120. But remember, I can sell this back for 5 gold because it's a mundane item. That means we've only spent, instead of 120, we spent 110. She still has her sentient bodysuit, which is pretty much keeping her alive and allowing her to cast her gore shot for pretty much free, or not free, but it's allowing her to give her, taking the irreducible damage, to be able to do the extra magic damage without too much problem. I do have a fate engine for her, which gives her a casting upgrade of white, and she can have the monster, or she can remove the symbols from a die that was rolled against her. This is once per encounter. You may choose the target of a spell and increase my sphere of influence by 2, which is pretty good for long range. And she has one of these piercings as well, which gives her a conviction upgrade of white, and after making a roll, re-roll any of your dice. Remy has that same one. Now, along with Gore Shot, she has Root the Mind, which allows her to paralyze a target, and then she has that infection that we saw earlier in the actual video. She has a few of these consumables. I'm not really going to go through them, and we'll just see what happens when we use them. Lastly, we have Zeke. Zeke still rocking his occult t-shirt, his deflection core. None of this has really changed. He still has his Bearer of Justice, which is a mundane, unique weapon that we were able to buy or find. I can't remember which one we did. It's a really cool bow, so I'm not upgrading that. We're going to keep him with what he has. He has a fight drive, and he has these flight arrows, which are pretty cool. It allows him to be able to, when make an attack, gain +1 to range. You are limited to firing only 1 arrow at a time. I have my quiver that allows me to put more relic arrows into it if I want to. And then we have our 2 abilities, Kill the Messenger and Down the Masses. Down the Masses, I'm allowed to make 2 separate ranged attacks against 2 different targets. And Kill the Messenger allows me, when I'm using a 2-handed ranged weapon, that if I ever roll the worst thing on a die, for example, I've been doing it actually quite a bit. I'm pretty good at it. If I say I roll the purple die and I actually roll the 1, I can flip that to the other side, which is pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of that ability. Lastly, we come to Rook. He's kind of my problem child. I don't really know what to do with him. He's got his Morning Star in his Maw of the Warden. We just got this for taking out the bouncing the bouncer, I guess you could say. We took out that boss. It does roll a teal die, which is pretty cool. It still gives him that armor. For one passive, I can pay a stamina point to counter, and I can exhaust this and roll a black die and deal the adjacent opponent physical damage equal to the number of shields that I rolled, which is pretty cool. We have this Cura still with our bulky, which gives us the extra armor we have. Now this is heavy, but he ignores the first heavy tag, which is pretty good. And we have that ability core here, which is going to be able to allow us to counter. He has his Ethereum Cotier and his Fate Engine, just like the other people. Now, here's where my problem child runs into. We need to work on this. His only two abilities, he has Magic Armor, which allows him to give people barrier or himself barrier, but at a cost of 1 stamina point. Or he has this Fever, which I thought was pretty cool, and it seems really awesome. The problem is, it's a cast a spell 6, and I don't have any way to upgrade my casting die at this point. I'm thinking that after we get done with this mission, I may pick this up for him. It's an Ecryphal Antiquity. I'm totally apocryphal antiquity there. I think I actually got it. It costs 40, and it attacks with an orange die. And it is actually a Spellcraft Blunt Tome, but this is a shield exotic, and nothing is comboing with that. So it doesn't really matter what my attack weapon is over here, because it doesn't get a combo with this. And it does give a casting upgrade of orange. And I can flip this after resolving a spell you cast, so long as the spell didn't have a per encounter flip condition, and I can cast the spell again. So this way I could cast that Fever spell twice if I wanted to. And whenever I deal magic damage to an opponent, I heal 1. So I think this would be a really cool thing to pick up in place of this Mace or Morningstar, I believe. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think this would really help him out from where he stands and how I've actually kitted him out, which sadly isn't exactly probably the best for him. But he's still got a lot of armor and can stand his ground. After going to the shop and buying and selling everything, we are up to 22 gold. I sold these cards for 15 gold. I don't need any of those. And we have bought 120 worth of stuff, so we are at 122. And at this point, if I wanted to, I could sell this for 25, giving us 47 gold, which would be enough to buy this. I don't think that's a good idea, because these are kind of tough to come by, and hopefully we can turn this into an upgrade that we can put on some of our items down the line. Here we are at Bungled Caper. The scene of the attack is complete chaos. A once extravagant caravan is scattered before you. It looks as if the wagon was torn to shreds, destroyed by a blast of some sort. There are a fair amount of monsters among the wreckage, but it's obvious that it wasn't just monsters that did this. It looks as if the caravan was blown to pieces. Chests and goods were thrown in all directions. The ones that landed in water look intact, but the current threatens to pull them over the edge of a cliff. Far to the north, perched upon a perilous ledge, a bladed weapon sticks out of the dirt. The ground it is driven into looks like it may give way, but even from here you can see the blade's fine craftsmanship. Here's everything that map is going to show, but I just wanted to give you a quick idea of how it's going to work. We have one of those totems up here. We have a water loa here, 2 of our Geovadins over here. We have, it looks like, a new monster type over here. Here's another water loa, and here's all the arrows pointing this way. This is the chests are slowly being pushed over the ledge, so we might have to split up in order to grab all the treasure. But if we split up, that means all these monsters are probably going to converge on us. It's a tough choice in how we want to handle this. Back here, it looks like we have something we might want to take a look at. Also over here, there is one as well. Here we have our end conditions. We have a win condition if all loot tokens are retrieved or destroyed and all combatants have been defeated. So we don't actually have to get them all, but they can't be on the board anymore in order for us to win. We have a lose condition here. All adventurers are defeated. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm not a fan of lose conditions. There are a few special encounter rules that we have to talk about. The first one is that blue one we saw is the sword in the rocks. The blue object token represents a weapon stuck in the cliffs. An adventurer in the space may make an encounter action to make a strength 10 check to pull it from the rocks. If they do, read the hidden text for the blue object. I think that's something I definitely want to do. Rook is all over it. We also have some orange spaces out there. The first ones are located on tile UM55. I'll point that out when we look at the map. When a figure ends their movement on or leaves a special terrain space printed on that tile, they must make an agility 10 check. If they fail, they must immediately move the figure 1 space toward the edge of the board, whichever the way the current is going. And the currents move loot tokens and figures through this space as though it were water. All right. Then we've got the dangerous edge, and that is found on tile UM57. When a figure ends their movement on or leaves a special terrain space printed on that tile, the space becomes dangerous terrain. Then they must pass a Perception 10 check. If they pass, they immediately move their figure to any adjacent space and continue their turn. If they fail, they are defeated. Oh, barf, that's terrible. The currents you saw in the book are all considered slow currents, so they will only move things one space, and they'll only move these tokens one space. Tokens move differently than players when it comes to currents. Tokens will move one space at the end of the round. Characters will always move one space at the end of their turn. There's also a rule for insignificant cave sickles. Adventurers are not required to kill the cave sickles when they determine the win condition for this encounter. All right, fantastic. I didn't even see any cave sickles. Here we have a panned out view of the map. We've already seen some of this before. Here's our water loas. They're right down there. We've seen these guys as well. These are the Geovadans. They're going to stay right where they are. We have a new enemy. This is the Fragor. They look like this. There's these little bug-like creatures with these little things on their back. Now, the funny thing is I until right now when I went to place it down on the map, I totally forgot that normally I paint their bases, as you can tell here. I forgot to paint his base, so I'm just going to have to use these and we're going to have to paint them later. These are the ones that actually come with the game that you're supposed to use, but I'm going to have to paint these after we're done with this mission. So we're going to place these down. Number 1 is going to go right here. Number 2, which is going to be, oh, that purple one's number 2. Our purple one is going to go back here. Our red one is number 1, it's right here, and our yellow one is number 3. It's going to go right there. So we have these new enemies. I'm pretty excited to try these guys out. Well, hopefully they don't do too much damage to me. I'm be more happy if they don't actually do anything to me. That'd be fantastic. We'll see how they perform as we get to their actions. Now that we have a common loot pool, I am going to be adjusting our combatant loot deck. We're going to be removing a 6 of 5 in all the 4s and adding in 5 level 10 gold cards into the remaining stack that we normally have. Then we're going to go ahead, give that a good old truffle shuffle once it's all set to go. Put it next to us and we'll be able to start drawing these new cards. There's actually only 5 new cards in deck. So it's really not that new, but I just wanted you to be aware that as you go up in loot level, your combatant loot deck will change as well. Lastly, we have to place down our characters. I'm going to put Remy right here. We'll place Rook here. I'm going to place who is this guy? Zeke. Yeah, let's put him there. And we'll put Nightingale right here. That'll be the plan. Lastly, we have our initiative deck all set to go. So we're going to give this a good old truffle shuffle here and spread it out down there and see who gets to go first. I'm hoping my entire group goes first for anybody else. We've got the Water Loa. Then we have Remy. Next we have Nightingale. Then we have Rook. Oh, this is going real. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? This is amazing. All right, Geovaden. And then lastly, we have the Fragor. That's awesome. That actually worked out pretty well, I think. We'll find out how this all plays out. The last thing I have to do is give everybody their stamina points. So they're all going to start the game with 3. And the way I do it is I just put the stamina cards on their initiative cards. And as we use them, we remove them from the cards themselves. And the numbers you see on those initiative tokens are not the actual numbers they have. Each token is 1 no matter what the number is sitting on top of that token. That's the other way I do it. That way everybody knows what's happening in this game. We have 3 tokens on each of our guys. All right, we're all set. We're going to start with that Water Loa. We have seen these creatures before. We'll make sure real quick to go through them. We've got that arcane and elusive power where it's going to take away some of my ability to do a lot of damage that takes the symbols away from dice. The Water Loa is not affected by Water Terrain and may never choose to leave it. And when the Water Loa affects an opponent with a spell or hits an opponent with an attack, place a water token on the space the target occupies. So hopefully it doesn't happen. If we move through all of the AI steps, the only one it's going to affect is right here. Can it move and attack an opponent within range 6? Yes, it can. So it's going to move to be up to range 6 from the nearest opponent, then make a range 6 attack against the opponent with the lowest total armor value. From where the Water Loa is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it can attack either Zeke or Remy. Remy does have 1 armor, Zeke has none. So if we do draw a straight line from the middle of this square to the middle of this square, it is probably, yep, it's going to cross right through that thing. Well, maybe not. Let's check. Grabbing our handy dandy laser sight here, going right from the center to the center over there. Yes, it is going to cross through there. So I am going to gain the +1 defense because of that terrain piece right there. And that's that one. Fantastic. Let's roll some dice. These Water Loa are really good at spells, but not too good at combat. They roll 2 purple dice. Let's see how they do against Zeke. Before I do roll my dice, I do get the chance to either empower or to dodge. The Water Loa does not empower, and I'm going to choose not to dodge. Let's see how it goes. They got a 7. That's not enough. Zeke has a total of 13 defense, so they missed. I could choose, if I wanted to counterattack against them right now. But of course, that would cost me 2 of my stamina. I'm going to not actually counterattack against these Water Loa. Moving over to the second Water Loa, we have the same situation here. It's going to move up to 6 spaces, then make an attack. So it's going to move to about there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is enough to either hit Nightingale or Rook. I think it's a no-brainer, as who has the least amount of defense here? It's going to be Nightingale. Again, I'm choosing not to use any type of dodging at all. We'll roll up our dice. They got a 7. That did not hit. I could choose to counterattack, but she does not have a weapon that can actually counterattack. Zeke could have, because he has that bow. Her stuff is melee attack, so she can't counterattack this attack. Our first character that's going to act is Remy. She's next in line. I'm going to use 1 her stamina to move a total of 6 spaces. She doesn't have anything that's going to help her with speed. She's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She could have chose to fly, but I decided not to, because at this point I do still have 2 stamina. We're going to use that 2 stamina to activate one of our abilities. We're going to activate our Chain of Command, which I'm going to exhaust, and when making a melee attack, this attack gains Reach 2. Super excited for Reach 2. So we'll go ahead, exhaust this, and make our attack with that brand new top-heavy axe rolling 2 teal dice. Oh, this is going to be so good. Let's see how we do against this Water Loa. We got a total of 12, which is enough to hit it, but sadly we do not do any damage, because according to our arcane power here, I'm going to lose all the symbols on this dice, which is absolutely terrible. I wonder if there's something I can do about that. There is. I have my Hammer Helm card. I'm allowed to exhaust this when making an attack. If you have a 2-handed weapon equipped, you may reroll any dice in your combat dice pool. On top of that, I do get to do 1 physical combat damage. So right now, even though I have only hit and not done any extra damage, I do get the 1 from this card. But I'm going to reroll this 5. There has to be something a little bit better on this 5 than a 5 on this card. Oh, how about a 6? A 6, I guess, is better than a 5. So I got a 13. They've got a defense of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I did 4 damage plus the 1 up here, so that's a total of 5 damage. So we'll place that down on this card. Right here on the number 1, that is going to do it for that attack. I don't think there's anything else I can do here. I have a follow-up. Spend 1 stamina point to roll a black die. For each shield rolled, target the attack that much irreducible damage. I do not have any more stamina points left, so I cannot use that power, but that is something to maybe think about keeping in the future. We will return this card exhausted to Remy, so in case she does counter before it comes back to her turn, this is exhausted, she can't use it, along with Chain of Command. I have a tendency to use this quite a bit, and we are going to use it now. I'm going to exhaust her per encounter ability to allow everybody to gain 1 stamina, and she is going to gain 2. Zeke, Rook, and Remy will get 1 stamina token each, and Nightingale is going to gain 5. She's going to have quite a bit that she can do this turn. Nightingale is going to use 1 stamina point to move 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there. The reason I'm doing that is I'm still not going to have to worry about the bugs that are up there. We're just going to try to take on this Geovadin. And she has 4 more stamina that she can do that with. So she's going to use 1 right now to move. She'll use the second one to cast her Root the Mind spell here. She's going to try to paralyze one of these. She's going to try to paralyze that one right there. Our Geovadin have a conviction of white and teal against my spell, but before we do cast a spell, I want you to notice that I am playing against a grizzled Geovadin right now. The reason why is down here at the bottom, it says spawning rules. Geovadin spawned are grizzled Geovadins and use the grizzled Geovadin intelligent combatant card instead under the following circumstances. If the current loot level is common, or during any double skull bounty side quests. So that is why we're using it. We're up to common loot level, so we're going to be using the Grizzled Geovadin. I am still going to try to cast my Root the Mind. We'll see how this goes. I get an upgraded casting die of teal thanks to my awesome staff here. Let's roll up our die. We got a 3. That's terrible. I wonder if there's any way to adjust that, because right now it's only a 9. I do not have anything I'm willing to use right now at this time. I'm instead just going to roll his conviction dice of teal and white and see how it goes. It got a 5, so it did miss. That's fantastic. So this Geovod, the purple one, is going to be paralyzed, which means it gains this token, passive. You may not take actions or use abilities. Discard at the end of your turn, next turn, and gain immunity to paralyze. So you can't keep continuously paralyzing creatures, but this one is now paralyzed, which is really super good. Now that did cost me 1 of my stamina, so I'm down to 3 stamina. Next, I am going to cast my Gore Shot at the same Geovodin. We're going to see how we do against this Geovodin when we cast Gore Shot. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to roll up my teal die yet again to see how we do. I got an 8 plus 6. Oh, that's 14. So this is a fantastic opportunity to use the bottom of my staff here. I can exhaust this and spend 1 stamina point before the target of one of your spells rolls its conviction check. So I'm going to do it before the conviction check. In addition to the effect of the spell, I get to roll a teal magic die. So let's roll that teal magic die in and see how we do. We got 5. I'm going to put that right there. So we've done a total of 5 damage to him just from this alone. Of course, the spell has to succeed in order for that damage to work. The Geovodin does get to roll a teal and white conviction dice. Let's see how he does. Oh my gosh, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I beat him by 1. That's awesome because my 8 cancels his 8. And then my 6 is better than his 5. Yes, got him. So we're going to be able to deal 2 magic damage. You may deal yourself 2 irreducible damage to deal additional magic damage equal to 2 times your highest level courier discipline. So our highest level discipline is 2, so we get to deal 4 damage to him just from that spell. I will be taking 2 irreducible damage, but he's going to take 4, bringing the damage to 9 because I got my 5 over here. So we got the 5 plus the 2 irreducible damage, plus we get to do... Wait, is that more? 2 times 2 is 4, 5, 6. Oh, we can do 6 damage. Oh my gosh, I'm way better than I thought. We're going to do 11 damage to that guy. He's so almost dead. He only has 7 left. Of course, the new upgraded version of him being the grizzled one, he does have more health, which makes it kind of tough. But he is also paralyzed, so he won't be doing anything. So he's a paralyzed Geovodin with 11 damage on him. Oh, what a good hit. Rook is next. He's going to use his first stamina point to move. He'll move 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, I think, about as far as he's going to go. Maybe he'll go up here to 5. Nope, I think he'll stay right there at 4. Totally fine. He's going to stay right there. At this point, he's just going to use his mage armor, and he's going to use his mage armor on Zeke, meaning he will not have to pay the cost. I'm going to exhaust this. Any ally within sphere of influence gains barrier. Reduce the stamina point cost of this discipline by 1 if the target is an ally other than yourself. So we're going to exhaust that. That means Zeke is going to gain barrier, giving him armor plus 1, which will really help out in a second. He's going to need that for sure. So we'll place this down on his card so we can remember that. And that's going to be all he's going to do. He's going to save his last 3 stamina points for hopefully something really cool in the future. We'll move to Zeke. Zeke is now going to spend 1 of his stamina points to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can move a total of 7 spaces, so he'll move to this spot right behind Remy. At this point, he's got a great shot at being able to hit one of these Geovodins. 1, 2, 3. I think he's going to go for the one, even though it's paralyzed. Being able to take out enemy is going to be fantastic. So if I miss, it's great that it's paralyzed. Or I could do damage 1, 2, 3, 4 to that one. Oh, that's such a tough call. I'd hate for him to not be able to go this turn, but go before us next turn and be able to hit us. So I think we are going to attack this one, meaning my paralyzed might be a mute point. But if not, who knows? It'll be good anyway. Hey, it's always nice to paralyze something. But before we take this shot, I am going to use 1 of my stamina points to pick up the treasure chest that is laying here, this loot. We're going to pick this up. We have found the yellow loot token. Let's check it out. It says here we're going to gain 2 random consumables. We have our consumable deck right here. I'm going to give it a good old truffle shuffle. I have added in all the common consumable items into this deck. We're going to draw from the bottom. I get 2 of these, 1 and 2. We've got the Mundane consumable, super hyper HP potion, and we've got a new one, common consumable. Let's check it out. We have the hyper energy HP potion, which is going to give us an ally is allowed to heal 3, and gain 1 stamina point. And this one I can discard. What is this? It is the Hangover Elixir. That's fantastic. Discard. I can use one of your abilities that costs 3 stamina points or less. Reduce the stamina point cost of the ability to 0 other conditions still apply. So if it's for example, an exhaust, I'd still have to exhaust it, but I wouldn't have to pay the stamina for it. No liver damage, and now no hangover. What a life! Oh, that's fantastic. All right, these are both going to go to Zeke. He only has one other consumable, and that's a smoke bomb. So he's up to his max of 3, and then he'll have to start putting him into his backpack or something. We're now going to take our attack 1, 2, 3 at that Geovaden. Before I do something tremendously dumb, I am going to use Down the Masses for my 2 stamina points to make my attack. That way I can target 2 different enemies. So we're going to target the red one, and then we're going to target the purple one. I don't think I make one attack roll. I think I do make 2 separate attacks here. It says make up to 2 range attacks against different targets. So I will be making attacks against different targets. We'll start with the red one. I'm going to be rolling an orange and a white die for this, but the first thing we have to do is see if anybody would like to dodge or if I'd like to empower my attack. I don't have any stamina to empower it, but it does say on the card here, the first time each turn the Geovaden is attacked, it will dodge. So it is going to roll its dodge die, and it got 4 books, so it got nothing. That's fantastic. Let's see how we do against the red Geovaden here. We got a 7 and a 6. That's a 13. It's got a 12, so we did hit it. I don't want to use my kill the messenger because none of these dice were that bad. They're actually really good. We got a total of 13. Let's see if anything else happens. I get the 1 physical damage here, so we did a total of 1 above his defense. So we did 2 damage. That's it. We only did 2 damage. Oh, I forgot. I need to really empower this in order to make this thing actually stick. Maybe I should have used the empower instead of grabbing the loot token, but that's okay. We're going to fire now at this one. So we'll roll the same 2 dice. I didn't get 5 shields. 1, 2, 3, 4. The most you ever get is 4 on 2 dice, so that's not going to happen. Let's roll these dice up and see what we get for the second attack. We got a 4 and a 3. Are either of those? Nope, none of these are the highest ones, so that's terrible. He missed the attack against the purple one, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm glad we were able to paralyze that one. Oh, that one should have dodged the paralyzed one. So it got the 1 defense against this, so it doesn't matter. It all missed anyway. And now I think about it, it can't use abilities. I wonder if that's a dodge. Must be an ability. So I don't think it could have dodged because it was paralyzed. Before we go too much farther, I do have to remove 1 of the damage because I am shooting through hindering terrain, meaning that these are going to get +1 of their defense. So instead of a 12, they have a 13, which is still, I was able to hit, but the only damage I'm doing was that 1 physical damage from the star. Wow, all that for 1 damage. Now it's time for these bounding balls of death to attack. There were a couple things I forgot I could have done with Zeke. I do have a couple cards I could have played. I could have done this before you make an attack. I can exhaust this and the target of the attack cannot dodge. It didn't matter. The dodge didn't help the only one that I hit. But here's the one I could have done. I could have re-rolled an attack roll on a single die except black. For my quiver, I didn't do that either. I have to remember all the cards I have. There are a lot of cards. I have to remember them all. It's so tough sometimes. Let's see what our ball of death is going to do. It is ferocious. When the Geovaden successfully dodges an attack, it gains courage. Well, technically this one did, but I don't think it could have because it had the paralyzed. It was paralyzed. This one didn't dodge it because I did actually hit it for 1. That's good. Then it has Adrenaline. The first time each turn the Geovaden can, it will counter with an attack of up to reach 2. It couldn't have actually countered attacked against Zeke, so that's fantastic. Not to mention I did actually hit and do damage. If there is now we have to go to, is there an opponent adjacent? No. Is there an opponent in reach 2? No. Can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? Yes, it can. So that way it's going to move to be up to reach 2 from the nearest opponent. Then make an attack at reach 2. Then move to be up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent within range. Then make an attack within reach 2. Notice none of these are follow-ups, so all of this is going to actually happen. Our purple one will do nothing except remove the paralyzed token, and now it has immunity to paralyze, so I can't paralyze that one again. Then we're going to move to the red one. The red one is going to move 1, 2 to be at reach 2 to the closest opponent, and that is going to be Zeke. Zeke is going to start by dodging with his occult t-shirt. He is allowed to exhaust this to dodge. Let's see how he does. He got 3 shields. I'll take that. That'll be fantastic. Now it's going to make its attack with a teal and green die. Wow, that's a big, powerful dice. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't do very well with this. Do I have anything that's going to help? Well, probably over there. We'll see. Oh my goodness, 16. He got a 16. We only have a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it did hit right on the button. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I wonder if I have something I can do to stop that. I don't think I do. I do not, so we're going to add up our damage here. We are going to take a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, physical damage from this. Then we're going to take +1 armor piercing, so the barrier that I put on him doesn't even matter. It's going to bust straight through that barrier. Next, we're going to take +2 physical damage here. Wow, so we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 damage from that attack. Oh my gosh, this thing's amazing. It hurts me so bad. We'll move Zeke's token down to 8. I don't know why I don't learn from my mistakes. Never sit him up in the front to get attacked. That was a stupid plan on my part. This Geovadin will now attempt to go after Rook. It's going to move 1, 2, oh, this is going to be terrible, and 3 to right here, hooking Nightingale and sending her into the tree. At this point, I could potentially do a break attack when a figure would leave a space as adjacent to an opponent. So whenever it left this space that is adjacent to me, I'm allowed to immediately make an attack action that costs no stamina points against the figure intending to leave the adjacent space. Is this a good idea? Probably not, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to hit this Geovadin with a break attack. I bet you're thinking, what's the worst that can happen? These things are really mean. The first thing it's allowed to do is it's allowed to dodge because it's the first time on its turn. It got a 3. It gets 3 extra against me. I'm going to go ahead and attack with my staff here. Let's see how this goes. It can't go too good. Nope, totally missed. Shouldn't have attacked him at all. He's now going to get his next power here that states if you successfully dodge, he is going to gain the courage token. So he gains 1 of these. When making an attack, he gains all those things. Just straight up, boom, all of those. Let's hope he misses. It's my turn. I'm going to try to dodge now. Hopefully I do as well as he do. I'm going to exhaust that to be able to dodge. I got 3 as well. That's good. Maybe that will help me out. He's going to make his attack with his teal and green die. Let's see how he does. He got a 14. Well, I've got a total of 12, 13, 14 plus... Oh, wait, I've only got 13. I've got a 13 defense, 13, 14, 15, 16. He missed. He only got a 14. So that means this is going to go away. And he's going to actually stop his advance. I will show you why. This Geovadin was attempting to get to Rook. But once it actually made that counterattack, it was going to stop its action. It says right in the book here, any remaining movement from the ability or move action that move the figure off of the space may be finished after the break attack ends. If for any reason the figure making the movement starts a new action such as making an attack via a counter, the remaining movement is lost and will not occur. So as soon as it attempted to counterattack Nightingale, it stopped its movement. It's not able to make the attack at reach 2. That's the end of the Geovadin's turn. Looking at the newest member of our intelligent combatants that we have met, we have another swarm enemy. We have our Fragor. Let's quickly go through it. We have a passive ability here, biological bulbs. Fragors do not provoke break attacks from bulbs. We'll see how that works as time goes on. Anti-magic hum. While a Fragor is alive, any opponent within sphere of influence of a bulb may not cast spells. That is terrible. I need to get rid of these things fast. It has some AI components here, and most of them are continue down, so it's a very interesting combatant here. Is there an opponent adjacent? No, there's not. Well, if it was, we'd do this, then continue down. Is there an opponent within range 6? No, there's not, so we will continue down. Can it move adjacent to an opponent? No, it cannot. So then once it gets to that, there is no continue down, but there is an otherwise, which is now meaning that it is going to move towards the nearest opponent. And if we look at the rest of the card here, it does have a conviction value of orange and white. It rolls 2 teal when it attacks, 12 health, 11 defense, 4 movement, and 0 armor. One of the questions was, is there an opponent within range 6? No, there is not, and I'll show you why. I am being assisted by this giant thing right here. So Nightingale is right here, and with my handy-dandy laser sight, I've got basically a straight shot straight through here. It's a direct diagonal right there. This thing is right here. If I turn it enough to try to get to Nightingale, it is going to hit that red line right here. So none of these are going to have the opportunity to attack her. Then everybody else is more than 6 spaces away. So they're going to move their speed, which is only 4. And they don't have anything like the crawlers that allow them to ignore any type of terrain. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess, down like that. And this one will move 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So they're slowly making their advance on me. Here's our board after the first round. We'll move our tokens down. So all of these are going to slowly be moving towards the edge of the board over there. We're then going to take all of our cards and mix them back up. But first, I'm going to give these stamina tokens out to the people that have them so I can remember where they go once we get all of the new combatant cards placed out there. The initiative track, I should say. Let's do that. We'll grab all of our cards, give them a good old truffle shuffle here. Hopefully we kind of mix things up a little bit. Well, actually, I hope I go first. I hope all my guys go first and none of these guys go after me. Let's give them a nice little truffle shuffle here so we don't... Oh gosh, this is so devastating. All right, we have so many enemies around us. Remy goes first. That should help. Rook goes second. That's fantastic. Nightingale. Oh, Nightingale going third is awesome. Oh, there's the Giovannans. All right, then we got Zeke, followed by the Fragors, and then our last person is going to be the Waterloas. Hopefully we can take out the Waterloa before it does anything to us. This is going to be pretty tight. I don't know how we're going to do all this. Let's put our stamina tokens back out on our characters. Nightingale gets 2. We also have 2 for Zeke. Zeke has 2 stamina. No, Zeke has no stamina. He shot his bow. That's my fault. He should not have had any stamina. We do have Rook. Rook does have 3 stamina right there. And Remy has the 1 stamina that she got from Nightingale because Remy went first. And Remy's going first again. So Remy's going to gain 3 stamina and we'll move into her turn and see what she can do. The first thing Remy's going to do is just unexhaust her 2 powers, the Hammer Helm and her Chain of Command. This might not be the smartest plan, but you know, after all, we're trying to help out Remy's dad, and he lost a lot of the loot that was on that carriage. So I'm going to use 2 of my stamina to fly. We're going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4 to right there. Then I'm going to use 1 of my stamina to grab the chest that is sitting right here in the water, so it doesn't go too much farther. It's going to be the blue one. So let's go ahead and check out what the blue loot token does. The blue loot, inside this chest, you find a pile of treasure. Treasure, treasure, treasure. I like treasure. The party gains 20 gold. Woo! Rook already has 3 stamina, so he's only able to gain 2 more to get to his max of 5. We have to figure out what we're going to do with all this stamina. We've got a ton of it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use 1 of our stamina to give ourselves a barrier token. Why not? Even though I know that evil Giovanni can potentially go right through it, I'm going to give 1 barrier to Rook. That is going to exhaust his mage armor. He has casted or magic armor. At this point, I am going to cast my fever spell here. I'm going to use 2 of my stamina to do that, leaving myself with 2 remaining stamina points that we'll use in just a second. Let's cast our spell. Sadly, our casting die is only purple, which is one of the reasons we need to upgrade this. I got a 7, though. That's a 13. He gets to roll his conviction dice. Let's see how he does. He only got a 9, so he hit him with the fever spell. And that says deal magic damage equal to your total armor value. His total armor value with his cuirass is 2. Bulky is +1, so that's 3. I get 1 for the Maw of Warden and 1 for his barrier token, or barrier ability. So he's going to be able to do 5 magic damage to this grizzled Giovanni, so he's up to 6. I also get to heal an ally within sphere of influence equal to half the amount of damage of this spell dealt. If the target of the heal is already at full HP, they gain barrier instead. Well, I'm going to use that on Zeke. Zeke is nowhere near at full, so Zeke is going to gain 1, 2, 3 health, bringing him up to 5 damage, so that helped quite a bit. With my next stamina, I am going to use a move, and I'm going to move right up next to it. I'm going to move right there. That's going to be fantastic, and I'm going to save this last stamina point, but we're not done yet. I'm going to use my Maw of the Warden. It allows me to exhaust this to roll a black die and deal an adjacent opponent physical damage equal to the number of defense roll symbols on that die. So let's exhaust this and see what happens. I'm hoping for a lot of shields on this die. I got 4! Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So we did 4 more damage to this guy. So let's put another 5 on there. Or we don't have to. This was a 1, so he's taken 6. Now let's flip this to a 10. So this one's taken 10. This one has taken 11. And we're getting so close to taking out both his Giovannis. Now, of course, the only bad thing is I have to remember there's still that Waterloa next to us as well, which is going to really ruin our day pretty soon. So we have some problems here with poor old Nightingale. Nightingale is going to gain 3 stamina, bring your stamina total up to 5, so she has her max stamina. But we don't have any of these in our sphere of influence. 1, 2, 3, 4. That Giovanni is in our sphere of influence, and we potentially could kill it if we did, 7 more damage to it. This one we could potentially kill if we did 8 damage to it. The problem is I want to really go after this Water Loa. This Water Loa can do a lot of damage, magic damage, and I don't have anything protecting me from magic damage. I'm better off getting attacked for physical damage. I don't really know what to do because 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't have the Sphere of Influence in order to get to that one. And that Water Loa still has a total of 7 health left on it. Oh, I could probably take it out. Let's see if we can do this. We're going to give it a shot. I am going to use my Wand of Missiles. I'm going to use my once per encounter when choosing to a target of a spell, increase your Sphere of Influence by +2. We're going to do that. I'm going to use my once per encounter. We'll place the use token out on that card. I also have to heal her 1 because of our sentient bodysuit, and I have to unexhaust our defensive core and our inscribed casting wand. At this point, I think we're going to use Gore Shot. I'm going to cast Gore Shot on that Water Loa from the distance I am, and I'll probably be using this staff to really make sure it hits home. Gore Shot allows me to roll a teal die. I get 6 + 5 is 11, and our conviction dice is a white and teal, so we'll roll those up and see what we get. We got a total of 9. Sorry. Yes, that's enough to kill her. This thing will deal 2 magic damage, which is enough. It only has 10 + 2 is 12. That's enough to take out this Water Loa. We don't have to worry about it coming back and trying to hit us with magic. I do get a combatant loot card because we were able to take out the Water Loa, and it's not a swarm. So we get 8 gold. I'm going to give that to Nightingale, and she's going to continue on. I'm going to remove this Water Loa from the board, and she still hasn't moved or done anything yet. I'm going to cast my second spell. We're going to cast Root the Mind. I'm going to pay 1 stamina, leaving myself with 4, and she's going to see if she's able to paralyze that one. I can't paralyze the purple one because it is now immune, but I could paralyze the red one. Root the Mind is a 6 plus my die. That's a 7, that's a 13. At this point, I am going to spend 1 stamina to activate my staff, and gives me the ability to roll a teal die in for damage potentially. 8 damage. If this spell goes off, I don't get to paralyze him. I get to kill him. That would be awesome. He does get to roll a teal and a green die to try to... Oh, no, it's a white die for his conviction right down here. Let's see what he gets. Hopefully nothing good. He got a total of 7. I did it by just enough. So again, the 7s are going to cancel each other out, and this is a 6 to his 5. So we got a total of 12. I got 13. I hit him. He is paralyzed. But more importantly, I did 8 damage to the red one. So that is going to kill him. He only has 18 damage. That's going to go through any type of armor or anything he had because it's magic damage. Of course, doesn't have any armor. So we're okay. I've killed off one of the Geovadins. I'm going to grab a combatant loot card because that is awesome. We're going to see what we got. We got another 7 gold that I'm going to give to Nightingale. We'll remove that Geovadin from the board, and I still have some stamina. I'm going to use one of my stamina to move with Nightingale. She's casted both her spells, and if I go running out here, that's probably going to be a bad idea. So I'm actually going to move back 1, 2, 3 to right here. Maybe that will... I'm trying to get this Water Loa to come over, and then I can maybe run up and use my spells again to try to take it out. Of course, that could probably be a bad idea. I don't know if any of these are good ideas. That's the end of Nightingale's turn. We'll move into the Geovadin, who is going to start by activating his... Is there an opponent adjacent? No. Is there an opponent within reach 2? No. Can it move and attack an opponent within reach 2? Yes, it can. 1, 2, 3, 4 to attack here. 1, 2, 3, 4 to attack Remy. And Remy is at the top of the chain, so it's going to move 1, 2 to right there and attack at reach 2. Now, Remy cannot dodge because she's in the water, which is sad, sad news. Our Geovadin gets to roll up a green and a teal die. Let's see how it goes. It got an 11, which is going to be enough. I only have a 10 defense. I think I was doing that wrong. I was looking at their health stats. Sometimes I get those mixed up, sadly, the health and the defense stats. So it got an 11, which I only have a 9, 10, so it did hit me. So I am going to take a total of 1 above my defense, then 2, 3 damage for these symbols on the dice. She'll take that 3 damage, which isn't too bad. Then it will move up to reach 2 from the farthest opponent within movement range. It doesn't get to ignore these hindering, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, It can't get to Nightingale at range 2, so it's going to stop right there, and it's going to attack Rook at reach 2 at that point. Rook cannot dodge because he doesn't have anything that gives him a free dodge, and he only has 1 stamina point, so we're going to roll these up and see how it goes against him. It got an 8, so it did miss. He's got a 9 defense. Wow, that was absolutely pretty lucky. The sad thing is I cannot counterattack because he doesn't have any way of doing reach 2. Zeke is next. Zeke gains 3 stamina and is going to use his first stamina to move. I would like to have taken a shot from here at these enemies, being able to target this one and this one with my down the masses, but this enemy will block line of sight to that one, which is terrible. Another thing I've been forgetting is this hedge. This hedge is supposed to give anybody he attacks through a +1 to defense, so it should have given him +1 defense when he attacked against Rook over here because it goes through here. And when I attacked it inside here, if I actually hit it with any of my melee attacks, should have gotten +1 defense. But just be aware, the green is always going to give you +1 defense, even if it's a reach 2. I totally messed that up. We're going to move 1, 2, 3 to right there. Now I do have line of sight to both of these characters. I'm going to take a shot with my bow using down the masses and exhausting it. I'm going to take my first shot against one of the Fragors. Let's see how it goes. Roll up my dice here. I got a 13. That's really good. That hit over an 11. 12, 13. I did 2 damage. Plus, I get all the stuff on my bow, which really isn't much because I didn't have enough to empower this attack because I had to move. So I get 1, 2, no, I get 1. So I get, what, really? 11, 12, 13, 14. I did 4 damage to this thing. Well, that's not going to help at all. It's going to come right at us. That's the red one. We've done 4 damage to this Fragor. I'll place it right there and move it again to my attack against the Geovaden. Before we make our attack roll, the Geovaden does get to dodge. It got a skull. That's fantastic. I'm a big fan of skulls when they're dodging with them. I get to roll a white and an orange. Let's see how it goes. I got a 6 and a 2. Oh, it was the 2. Oh, the 2's the bottom one. I'm going to use my, the kill the messenger. I'm going to exhaust this to be able to turn one of the dice from its worst value to its best value. So now we did a total of 13, which is 1 above his defense. And, oh, I could have made him not dodge. I keep forgetting I have that arrow that prevents him from dodging. But that's okay. The skull was awesome. We're going to be able to do 1, 2 damage, which isn't much. 10, 11, 12, 13. But you know what? I'll take anything I can. So he's going to go to 13 damage, and that's the end of this bow's attack. This bow, I think I really need to upgrade, or I really need to concentrate on trying to find a way to activate it while I'm able to get my enhancement on it. I can roll my empowering die, but I haven't been able to get enough stamina to be able to empower this and be able to attack some creatures. This turn, I could have probably took all firepower and aimed it at this thing. For example, I could have just fired at him without moving and using my kill the messenger, and I probably would have, I would have easily been able to take this guy out with the extra 6 damage on this thing. That would have been enough to take him down. But alas, I did not do that. I instead just kind of did a couple piddly twinks at some of these other guys. I should have just empowered it. Since this is a new enemy, let's again look at the card and see what's going to happen. Is there an opponent adjacent? No. Is there an opponent within range 6? Yes, there is. Then make a range 6 attack against the farthest opponent within range. Then place a random bulb token on or adjacent to the target so that it is adjacent to as many opponents as possible, but not on another bulb token. Can it move to be adjacent to an opponent? Well, I don't think it can. Then deal purple damage. That's not going to happen. Then move towards the nearest opponent. Oh my gosh, these guys are terrible. They're just going to keep creeping up on me. So if we look, this one I don't think has a line of sight. I think if I was smart enough, I put her not in line of sight path of this thing. No, it's going to clip through that little section there. But on the other hand, we've got a good old line of sight right there. This one can fire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at Zeke since it is the farthest away. Before the Fragor attacks, I do get the ability to dodge. We'll roll that up. I got a skull. That's terrible. I don't like that. So I've gone ahead and exhausted this to dodge. I'm going to use Zeke's power that states Nimble Fighter. Passive. Zeke Cautious Nature helps him adapt to any situation. Once per turn, Zeke may reroll his dodge roll. Well, guess what we're going to do? Reroll this dodge roll because that was terrible. We got 3. That's way better. And we've done a total of 4 of this. I'm going to put these up here so I don't keep bouncing around. They're right up on top. We're going to roll up this damage here, or this attack. Let's see how it goes. It got a 5 and a 5. That's a 10. Zeke has a total of 9 defense, plus his defensive core gives him 10. And that's not going to hit. So it only did 10. It missed. Zeke at this point could attempt to counterattack, but I don't have, I think, any way to counterattack unless I spend stamina points, and he does not have any stamina points. Oh, I've got the shirt. The shirt does allow me to do that. It does say right down here, it says, dodge. If you are successfully dodge the attack, I can counter. So I am going to counterattack against him, and I can do that because I have a bow that has range 6. Let's roll up that bow and see how it goes. Well, it was a mute point. I only got a 9. That's not going to do it. I could re-roll this dice. I'm going to re-roll this die using my quiver. My quiver allows me to do that. It says exhaust when you make an attack roll. Re-roll a single die except black, so I'll re-roll the white one and see how it goes. I got a 13. That's what I like to see. That's 3 more damage. So we've done a total of 6 damage to this thing. So we'll put a 6 right there. It is half dead. All right, half dead is better than not dead. After the Fragor attacked, it does state that I have to place down a random bulb. Well, here's our bunch of bulb tokens right here. We're going to mix these up, give them a good old little truffle shuffle here, and then we're going to grab one of these and place it down adjacent or on the same square as the person that was attacked, so it's as close to as many people as possible. So I'm going to place it just like that so that poor Remy and Zeke both have to deal with this bulb token. Now, what do these bulb tokens do? That's a great question. If at any point these bulb tokens would make a break attack, you're going to flip this over and deal with it. That is actually found now in the rulebook. It used to be on the Fragor's card, but they have adjusted it so it's a little bit easier to deal with. So when a figure would provoke a break attack from the bulb, flip the bulb token, resolve the listed abilities against all figures on or adjacent to the bulb. So these two are in big trouble if they ever move. But that's okay. We're going to continue with the rest of the Fragors. None of the rest of the Fragors can actually attack, so they're going to move towards the closest person. This is going to be her. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to move towards Nightingale, which is bad news. This one's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. This one will move 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess, like that. It's stuck in the stuff right here, which is actually pretty good. Lastly, we have our Water Loa over here. The only thing it can do is move to be within range 6 and make an attack. It's going to move 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can now attack Nightingale, who's right down here, a little bit off camera. Let's see if she hits. I do have the ability to dodge if I wish to with Nightingale, but we're going to save that in case I get attacked by something that's attacking with a little bit better than 2 purple dice. I'm not too worried about 2 purple dice. It got an 11. I should have been worried about somebody with the little purple dice there. I only have a 10 defense, so I am going to take 1 damage from going over this. Plus, it's going to do magic damage. Oh, it's going to get plus the attack roll. 1, 2, 3, so it's got 11, 12, 13, 14. And then it's going to, that's it. So it's got a 14 against me. And I only have a 9, 10, so I'm going to take 4 damage. But I am going to be able to use my armor that I have on my armor here. So I'm going to take 1 less. So I'm going to take 3 damage from that evil, evil Water Loa. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, and I have to place a water token. Nightingale's going to get this awesome water token placed right underneath her because it does say, according to the Water Loa, when the Water Loa affects an opponent with a spell or hits an opponent with an attack, place a water token on the space the target occupies. So that's fantastic. We got that right there. Here again is the board after that last round. Let's give our stamina tokens to our characters and see who gets to go next. Oh, I hope it's going to be our guys, or this could be pretty bad. If these things all get to go, this could be a really buggy situation here. I said buggy situation. I'm going to give them a good old truffle shuffle for the initial cards and see who gets to go first. Oh no, the Fragors are going to be going first. That's going to be terrible. Then the Geovadin, so we're going to get slaughtered. Oh, look at this. All of our characters are going last. Oh my gosh, how are we going to get out of this one? Oh, man, I wish I had each and every one of you here to help me through all the pain and misery that's about to happen. And maybe I will, because I'm going to stop the video right here. You can give me some suggestions as to what you think might be the best plan. And if one of the suggestions is dying, I might not be opposed to it, because all these enemies are about to attack us. Hopefully they don't do too much damage. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the playthrough of Middara. We are doing our side quest, Bungled Caper. This seems to be pretty challenging. challenging. Oh, I need to move these two down one square. We're getting close to losing our chest. We also have this sword apparently up here. We also have two totems we haven't dealt with. And we have another thing over there we haven't seen either. And we're just gonna have to keep on fighting. Hopefully we can get these guys taken care of and get to all these things. If you are enjoying this playthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the next part of Middara Unintentional Malum Act 1, Chapter 2, The Bungled Caper. Now, I have known I made a few mistakes out here. I can't believe I totally forgot about all the hindering terrain that I should have been giving extra defense to, not only my guys, but their guys. But we're having a blast. I really like Middara. Of course, there's a lot going on in this game. There are some powers I probably even forgot to be using out here, but that's okay. We're continuing on. We're going to keep on fighting. Also, feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. And again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see if our brave adventurers can make it through here, then I need you to meet me at the table.